Hello, all. It seems that there were some issues with the Lecture 1 recording, specifically the Android Studio, and this is a very, very important thing to cover, especially because we need to download Android Studio and we will be working with it, so you do need it for that first week. I'm just going to focus solely on Android Studio. I am trying to fixing the actual lecture recording because that is about a whole hour of lecture, so I'm just redoing the slides there. But pretty much what we're going to do is I'm going to show you where to download Android Studio. I will guide you on how to open a project, how to set up the emulator, and how to create a new project. Okay, so let's get started. Share my desktop here. Okay, so where to get Android Studio? So what I am doing here, so if you go to developer.android.com and you go here, you're going to see this one where it says download Android Studio Narwhal feature drop. Make sure this is what you're downloading, the Narwhal feature drop release, okay? And you can scroll down and look at the different features. You can explore it here. Now, from here, you will see if you do not meet the requirements, there's something called Firebase Studio, and I don't remember what that is. Oh, try Android Studio Cloud. So this is the Firebase Studio. All you have to do is fill out a Google form pretty much and make sure that you sign up, say you're a student, use your Arizona email to get access to this. So pretty much an IDE that you can use on the web. And it's still in its beta stages, so it might not work as well. Haven't worked with it. I was exploring it, and this is as far as I got how to get there. Okay, so just so you know, it's there. It's a resource, but yes, do download the Android Studio Narwhal feature drop. Now, once you download it, go ahead and do the installation. Just follow the guide. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, and then the next thing that we're going to do here is I will show you how to open Android Studio. Okay, so this is maybe not something that you will see, not right now at least, but later on you will. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and open a project, and then from here, where do I have it? It's in here. Yeah, GeoQuiz, and this is the 4th version, but I'm just going to open it. Okay, so when you first open it, you're going to see that it's going to try and build. I already opened it before, so it's already built for me, but you will see here that it has something that it's building, and if you go into the build stage, it'll show you like a little hammer on the left side here. If you click on it, it will show you that it's building, and it's down here at the bottom, bottom left hand corner, you will see something called the Gradle build. When you first open GeoQuiz, it might give you build error. Go ahead and do an 8.5 Gradle sync, and that should fix it. So 8.5. Okay, so let's select that one and rebuild. Now, and again, depending on your computer, depending on how many resources you have, on what you have, might take like between 5 to 10 minutes for the first time. But to save time, I already had it load up, so it's there. Now you will see these files here. Okay. Now what matters here is inside of here you have a main activity. Instead of Kotlin plus Java directory, you have a main activity. Okay. Now to run the application, let me go ahead and show you. Now you won't see this right here. You might see nothing for the running devices. So what you're going to do is you are going to go into Device Manager, right? And this is the little phone with a little Android icon there. And from here, you're going to, if this is your first time opening it, you're going to go ahead and add a new device, and you're going to create a virtual device. Okay, when you create a virtual device, make sure it's a phone. Normally the Pixel 8, but make sure it is a 33 plus. Yeah, so 33 plus, so you might actually go with Pixel 7. Okay, so do 33 plus, actually 38, I mean 34 should also work. So pixel 8, 34 should actually work. So just go ahead and do next. You name here whatever you want to call it. I'm going to put APCV 381 phone. And then right here is going to ask you to download the system images, okay? And it's going to tell you what API it is required. So before we do that, actually, let's go ahead and switch to the upside down cake. Or if you want to do the tiramisu, that's 33, go ahead and do that one. But you're going to get this little icon where you have to download it. It does take some time, so please plan on spending that time. So once you select it, you're going to click maybe next. In this case, for me, I have the options of just clicking finish, okay? But I'm not going to add it because I already have this type of phone, okay? So it does take a little bit, but you will see it here. I do have different phones that I can pick from to run this. So to run a device, you can go ahead here, select the app, and then run it. And it's going to tell you what phone you want to go ahead and run it with. So I'm going to run it with Pixel 8 API 33, and I'm just going to click on run here, and this should run. So it's going to pull up an Android emulator, Android phone emulator, and then automatically, as you can see, the little wheel spinning here is going to try to open that app. So let's give it a few seconds here. And you'll see the progress bar here. So this is the geo quiz, and this geo quiz pretty much asks you about the capitals of some of the countries, and if you say false, then it's going to tell you incorrect. If you click on true, then it's going to tell you it's correct. Okay, so that's all this app does. Pretty much, it's for you to go ahead and explore it. So some of the things that you want to go ahead and check out is first the main activity that's under app, Kotlin plus Java. The next thing is the main activity XML. Okay, and then here, now I'm going to go ahead and minimize this so that we can see some of the code. So this is the view that you might see. This might not be the view that you're going to see for the first time. So if you click here, you're going to have different views. So this is just automatically the XML type of code, and you're going to see here. This view shows you XML code as well as the GUI. Okay? And this shows you the complete GUI. So to add things here, you can just open the palette here and then add the stuff that you need, and then go back into the code and make some changes. Okay, so this is what are some of the things that you're going to look at, especially when you are creating your first app. So the other things that we're going to look at are the colors, XML, and this is where you define your colors. So, again, it's XML. So this is the type of code that you will see. Again, you're not expected to know it. Just, follow the pattern like with any programming language, the color, name, you give it a name, and then close it with a greater than symbol. Select the hexadecimal value for whatever color you're picking, and then close it with the color value, okay? And then there's another one called strings. So this strings file go ahead and allows us to define string names and set up like our string values here. So same idea. So if we can go into activity underscore main XML, we can see that we're calling here the text. We call it with @string, and then the name of the string was question text. So if we go here, where's the string? And we look at question text, is the text is going to replace it with. Okay, so these are some of the things to look at. Now, if we look at the main activity, right? And there's a lot of things that are already built in for us, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, let's see. Yeah, so this is how you would run it, and this is, what you would see. This is the code that you should check out, try to understand. Great, this is a great, I guess, overview, also demo, example code that you will use for your date app. Okay, so now let's go ahead and jump into the assignment. What is expected, right, for the assignment and the requirement. So assignment 1 is called Hello Date. And for this app, you're pretty much supposed to create, oh, I didn't put an image there. Let me go. I was replacing that image. Pretty much create an app that when it first shows up, it has a button that takes over the whole screen, right? And then this button has the current time, okay? And there's some code that is provided for you that you can put to help you figure out that date and time. So it'll automatically ask the system to find that and fill that out for you. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the second lecture. But for now, just know, like what are the requirements. So there's a big button that takes over the whole screen. When you first open it, the time, the date's gonna be there. And then every time you click it, it's going to display the current time. Okay, so whatever time it changed into. So one of the requirements that you need to, so it'll automatically create an Android manifest XML. So all you have to do is change the main activity .colon file, and the layout XML and the layout XML that you have there. So, but I will show you that. The other thing is, and you'll see right now, that you have to pick a meaningful name. For example, hello date, and then also that your source package is expected to look like this. So edu.arizona.infosec. Then this is your name and last name, and then hello date or whatever you call your app. Okay. All right. So you know how to approach this assignment. Okay. So first we're gonna create an empty activity, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. And after we create an empty activity, we're gonna play with two things. The first one is going to be the layout XML file, and this is the activity XML file where we add our button. Once we add our button, we give it a name, and we're gonna be calling that button in our main activity file. In this main activity file, we're gonna implement the set on click listener, and then from this set on click listeners for a button, every time you press that button is going to do something, and what is it going to do is going to display that date. So we're going to use this this private function that I will talk about a little bit and show you where to put that. We also have to create that date button that we're going to be using. Okay, so you do need to use an emulator that runs API26 or higher in order to use the function above. So in this case, actually, we can even go all the way to 33. So 33 should work, and you won't need this anymore. Okay. Just so you know. And so then to turn it in, right? So to turn this in, you do have to go ahead and zip up the file with all the source code in there, and I'll show you how to do that. And then you're gonna upload a video of your app working as well, and I will show you how to do that when we have it there. Okay, so I guess file and then export to zip file, and then you have to submit this into D2L. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go back to Android Studio. Okay, so Android Studio, and here we have the GeoQuiz. Now I'm gonna go ahead and stop this, and this is how you stop your app from running. I'm gonna go to File and then New and the New Project. So you can do it this way. I'm gonna do it the other way. I'm gonna just click on New Project. Okay. Now this is important because if we don't do this, then we're creating more work on ourselves. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and click on an empty views activity. It's important that you do this one, not the empty activity, but empty views activity. Why? Because the empty activity doesn't give you any files, so you have to create pretty much everything from scratch. Versus the empty views activity gives you the manifest, it gives you the view already, it gives you some things that are pre-configured. Okay, so we're gonna click on next. Now from here, you're gonna name your application hello date. Okay, so whatever or something meaningful. Okay. Your package name should be edu Arizona infosec, your name, right, and last name, and then the name of the app. Okay. Now save the location someplace. I would suggest going ahead and creating your a folder for this class and setting it there. Language does have to be Kotlin. I mean, if you want to do Java, you are more than welcome to, but don't complicate your life if you don't have to. The minimum SDK, I'm going to say API 33 tiramisu. Okay, and this is pretty much the SDK that we need in order for the app to run, the minimum SDK that we need for the app to run. And so it gives us here that the app will run in approximately 48.7% of the devices. If we go lower, you will see that it gives us more devices that it will run on. We're not going to do that. 33 is fine. Okay. And so then from here, make sure you do have the Kotlin build Gradle. So it's recommended. So go ahead there and then click on finish. So when you click on finish, again, right, I didn't have this show for GeoQuiz, but this is what normal process is. You're gonna see all these files. Don't mess with it yet. Like just let it build, right? If you click here on the hammer icon, you're gonna see the build, how everything's building. You're gonna see the progress here on the Gradle project. So let it finish, let it compile. And while you do that, you can go ahead and, like add your device here. Pick the device that you're gonna have this working with, okay? So just give it some time. The other thing, like going over Android Studio, on the far here, you're gonna see your device manager all the time. You can also have it pop up so that you have it like on a separate screen. And let's see, when we open it, I'll show you where to go. Okay, so it's still compiling, not compiling, sorry, building, compiling something else. So it's building. So let it build for a little bit. So this is where you're going to be writing your code. This is where you're going to see the files, your file structure. This is where you're going to see your device manager. I'm going to go ahead and minimize it so that we don't see it, but anytime you want to see it, just click there. Okay, so just click on the running devices, and this will open up that phone that you have open, okay, that you have selected here. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so there we go. Sorry. And then to make it pop up, you just click there, and then you'll have it floating. Okay, I'm gonna do that, and then I guess make it unfold by doing that. Okay, so it's taking a little bit longer. We're just gonna wait. And it's done. So how do we know it's done? Well, you should get a green check mark here where it says it's finished. It was built successfully. Okay, so here in the build, it was built successfully. And also notice here on the where you see your folders, right? Your folders, you'll see that things have changed. You no longer have like all these files that you weren't able to even click or see very well, or but now you're going to see the manifest. So this is the Android manifest. You don't have to touch this one. So don't touch this one for right now. We will talk about it later. Okay. So you do need to open, instead of the Kotlin plus Java, the first one is called main activity, and then the resource file. Okay, and here we're going to click on the layout, and this is going to give us the main activity. And then values is the other ones that we're going to be working on. So what do we do when we first run it? So let's go ahead and run it and see what it gives us. So this right here, when you click on activity underscore main.xml file, this is where you get to edit your GUI, right? Get to see what it's there. So I'm going to see the running devices, and now it's compiling, it's building. Let it run, and you're gonna see that we're just gonna get this hello world. I think, yeah, it's hello world text on this app. Okay. Okay. All right, and this is what you see. Okay. So this is going to see your app when you first run it without making any modifications. Okay. So now what are we going to modify? Like, the question is so many files there, like what matters right now? Or at least for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this first, and I'm going to minimize this and show you. So we're going to go into the activity underscore main XML file, and then from here we're going to go ahead and review and remove this view text, and I'm going to go ahead and add a button here. Okay, this one I'm just going to add it here in the middle. Now remember we talked about how we're going to view this, right? So I'm going to switch over to the code view, and I'm going to go ahead and remove this. It's unnecessary. I'm just going to call it the linear layout for right now, and then you're going to import the namespace. Okay, so there we go. Now for the button, we have to go ahead and make modifications for the button. So I'm going to remove this Android text button for now, so it doesn't say button at all. Okay, and then I'm going to back in here, and notice that the button is now up here. Okay, so how do we fix so that the button displays the whole screen? Well, we can use this width layout and height layout. Okay, and this now takes the whole button. Okay, so let's go into the code here. Now notice that there's an ID called button. The layout width is a match parent, and the layout height is a match parent. Okay, so I'm actually going to name this button date underscore button to give it something more meaningful. Like it's a date button because you will see in moving forward there's going to be more buttons than just one. So I'm just going to name it like that. I can also assign it a color, so I can say Android colon, and then I could say color. Let's see, kind of color. So let's see layout. No, I think it's called background. Background tint. Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and add a color. So to do that, I'm just gonna put color, and whatever color you want to do, I'm gonna put blue. And notice it's in red, right? Because we haven't declared this color. So we're gonna go here into the colors, and I'm gonna go ahead and add this color. So color name equals width, and then this is where Google comes into place, and I'm just gonna Google blue hex code. So it's just this right here, and I'm gonna look at different shades of blue. Maybe I like this denim blue, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and redo it and then call this a denim instead of blue. Oops. So I'm gonna call in denim here, and then put the hex here, and as you can see the colors showing up here. Now I'm gonna go back to the activity XML, and then I'm gonna call this a denim. Okay. So now when we look at how it looks, there you go. The button, it's okay if it's round, it's fine. Okay, and it takes up the whole screen. Now let's go back into, so that's for the activity XML. That's pretty much what you have to do there. Okay. So then in the main activity here, and this is the reason why we do the empty view, not the empty app. Okay. We see that some of the things are already created for us. So one of the things that we're going to do is take a look at this override function called onCreate. Okay, so this we're going to see like for the rest of the for the rest of the pretty much class. Okay, so in here we're going to leave this alone, and what we're going to change is this. So let's go ahead and comment this out, And now this is where we're going to use that code that was in the assignment. Yeah. Okay. So first, I'm going to go ahead and create this button. I'm going to call it private late init bar date button. Okay, and I'm going to import. So when you see these in red, it's mostly because you're importing some of the classes. So I'm just going to go ahead and hover over it, right? And then let this show up and click there. And what we're going to see is going to go ahead and import the classes that we need. Okay. All right. Okay. So, okay, so the first thing is that we're gonna go ahead and declare this variable, but it actually has to go, sorry, it actually has to go outside of this override function. Okay, so that's where we're declaring our button. All right, so then in here, this is where we are going to go ahead and use some of the other code where it says creating a private function, and we're going to go ahead and use it. Okay, so again, this actually has to go outside of that. And then notice all these red red errors that we're getting. To fix this, we're just going to go ahead and import those classes. Okay, so just hover over them and then just click on import, and then you're going to see that they're showing up right here. Okay, all right, so we have that first part, right? So this is where you come into place, right? You're gonna have to go ahead and do something like onset click listener. So things that you would see like in your geo quiz, right? When we're talking about buttons. So in here, for example, something like this, right? So set on click listener. In this case, we would call in the button. So this is the first thing that we would do, right? Let's go ahead and it froze. Okay, that's okay. We're gonna declare a button. In this case, there's gonna be the date button. Set it equal to find view by ID, right? And what this is pretty much is doing, it says go ahead and find me the button that I've declared before. And where did we declare this button? Well, we did declare it in our activity main XML. So in this case, oh, let me close that background. In this case, right, we have when we declare a button, we go into the activity main and we did name it date button. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then in here, we're gonna declare it, okay? So I'm gonna let you do that, just following the example. So something like this, but with date button. So notice, so I guess I could show you that here, if this cooperates, okay? So something that, like we go ahead and do is when we are on this side of, oh, and I'm gonna call this the date button. I'll call it capital B. Okay, so the date button right there, and then in here I called it the date button. There we go. So why do we do this? Normally here we go ahead and start with the lowercase, and this is the convention that we use lowercase for the first letter, and then capital if it's going to be two letters combined or two words combined. Okay, and then we do have to keep, and why we do this is so that it looks different from what we call in our IDs and we don't get confused. So go ahead and actually change that to capital button here, and that should be fine. Okay, so you declare this private function. You are declaring your button here. Now we're going to go ahead and do like the set on click listener. And again, right, refer to this. So this is where you go. But this is different, right? Just a little bit different. So I'm trying to understand what's going on here. I'm just going to put the date button. Oops. Come on. All right, and so what am I going to do here is I'm just going to call this function right here. And this should give you something to, like to start off with. From here, it's your job to figure out the rest. You're pretty much almost done. So if we run this, right, what is going to happen? So let's see. So we have a button. We click on it, right, but nothing's happened. So a hint here, or just call this function in here. Okay, and every time you click it, that should give you the date. Now, what to do, right, so that it's displayed before you even press the button? Well, you can just go ahead and do something like this, and then display it before the set on click listener, so it's displaying there. Okay, so that's just a hint. Now, like what to expect, or like what I want. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show the open, and I think it's this one. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, and I think I'm showing you the code here. All right, so what I expect here is when you go into your running devices, right? I'm gonna go ahead and click here so that I can run this one. Okay, so this is what I expect. So when you first open it, it's going to show you display the date, and then um, once you click on it, it's going to update. So over here, I mean, it's only been seconds, so I mean, it should go ahead and change here, not the minute, but rather the second. So it was 4 seconds, now it's 15 seconds. All right, so this is what I expect for assignment 1. Hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this gives you an idea where to start. You might run into some troubles, and that is okay. Experiment with this, look up the code, try to understand what's going on, and I will catch you in the next video, in the next lecture. We'll see you soon.